Okay. You can share your screen and show me the application.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, okay.
You do not have experience working on WMB or other integration tools, right? You're just starting now.
Yeah, I'm just starting this.
Hmm.
Vishnu, can you see my screen?
I can, yes, it is visible now. I say DFTL record. So, were you able to create a CSV file with this?
Yeah, I actually created an Excel sheet and saved it as CSV extension,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have added it as a message to this model.
Okay, let's test this. Click on create logical instance. That's on the right side. The last button on the right, top right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one, create logical instance.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Click on OK. Expand the record. Field 1, field 2, field 3. Now click on serialize. The top uh, right side somewhere, you would
Where?
see a
Yeah,
serialize option.
that. Okay.
Test serialize model. Okay, now the CSV is created. Is that a dot or is that a comma?
It's comma only this one.
All right. Now let's click on test parse model. Select serialize view. Okay, you have selected a file and the file has been parsed successfully. That's good. Now you want to convert this CSV into what? A JSON, is it?
Bi- Binary.
Binary. So show me the binary output that you want to create.
I have no output actually. I wanted to convert this CSV document to binary itself.
Okay, there are multiple types of binary files. So we can consider copybook from COBOL as one of the binary types. We can consider fixed length format as binary or many other things. So first we have to
Okay.
define a model for that.
Okay.
So what we'll do is this is an exercise to help you learn this IIB concept better, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So in
Right.
that case, we will create another uh, DFTL and
Okay.
create it with fixed length format. Create a new
Okay.
DFTL. Select record. It's not CSV. Wait, what is the option here? Text data formats where fields are grouped into
We
records.
have common
Select the one next to CSV, record oriented text.
okay.
Record oriented text.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Next. Click on
I'll be
next.
keeping the first option.
Sure. Select some application or library where you want to store
I'll
this.
create the new one.
No, it should, they both should be in the same application. Your first DFTL for CSV and second DFTL for binary. Click on browse
Okay.
button.
I'll
Yeah,
keep this. Okay. Should I create the new folder or should I browse that issue?
it's up to you. You can use the blank folder as well, the default folder.
Okay. I'm creating the new one.
Mm. Provide a name for the schema file. Hmm. Next. Here header is defined, body is defined, and select fixed length button that you see in the middle of the screen, separated by fixed length.
Yeah, this one. Okay.
No, the one towards your left. Click on
Which?
fixed length.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
All fields have an initiator. Uh, that's good. And dynamic encoding. That's good as well. Click on
This
body.
what this fixed length is for means, why we have chosen this fixed length.
The input that you are trying to parse is a CSV file, which means multiple columns are separated by a comma. Each column could be of any length, and it could be three characters in length, 5 characters in length. Doesn't matter. As long as they are separated by comma, it is a valid structure. For record
Okay.
oriented format or fixed length format, you will define what the length of each field is. You're telling here that the header will be 3 characters. There are 3 fields in the header,
Okay.
and click on body fields.
Yeah.
There are 3 fields in the body. Click on trailer fields.
Okay.
So there are
Three.
3 fields in trailer. We are creating one header. So it will start with a header, it will end with a trailer, and you can have multiple body
What?
elements.
Okay.
That's what we are creating now. Click on finish.
Yeah.
Now expand the header on your left. Click on header. Sorry, in the middle of your screen. Header. Expand that.
Yeah.
These are the names. If you want, you can modify them. So let's now
Okay.
just expand
Trailer.
the body, and let's also look at the trailer. So you would see header occurs only once, body occurs multiple times, and trailer occurs only once.
Yeah.
And each of these fields are mandatory. Everything has an
Oh,
occurrence of one.
okay. Can we also change min and max occurs of this header,
Yeah, you
body,
can.
and okay.
So let's create a logical instance.
Okay, sir.
Click on OK. So logical instance has been created. Now click on serialize after yes.
It's test serialize or here
Yeah,
this one
test
serial
serialize.
logical.
Test
Okay.
serialize. So now select content from DFTL logical instance, the
Okay.
first
Okay.
radio button. Yeah. Now click on OK.
It's completed successfully.
All right. Now you see the initiator for header is H, for body it is B, and
B.
for
Yeah.
trailer it is T.
T. Yeah.
Now this is the binary structure that we're going to generate from the input CSV.
Okay.
Now go to integration development perspective, create a message flow where the input is CSV, MQ input, output is MQ output.
Okay.
Do you have MQ installed on this machine?
Yeah, I have it.
All right. Provide some name to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Input queue's name can be csv.in,
Okay.
and output can be binary.out. Expand your broker and show me where you want to deploy this.
Okay. I think I need to create these queues in MQ
Correct.
because I don't have.
First, I want to see your broker.
This one.
This is your queue manager. Show me your integration node or your broker where you're going to deploy your application.
This one. Okay, its test server is not started.
You can create the queues in the meanwhile.
Okay.
All right. Now
Yeah.
click on the properties and double click on it so that I can see the whole section. Click on test server. No, not like this. Click on the integration server called test server.
Okay.
So on the right side, when a properties would pop up. So let me look at the properties. So I can see that 7600 is on your right side of your screen. There is a
Oh
properties tab.
yeah.
Double click on it to make it into a full screen so that I can see the whole content.
Okay.
So in this, MQ has not been associated yet, right? London queue manager is not connected to this
Yeah.
integration server. Scroll down and confirm that. Trace, SOAP, platform, monitoring. Yeah, correct. So we'll have to create a MQ policy. Click on Control M so that this will restore to its original size.
It's not.
Or okay, double click on properties again and it will restore. Yeah, right click on convert to binary application and say new MQ policy. New MQ policy. Yeah, policy. Correct. Create a new policy project. Name that as something. Policy name can be London. Policy underscore London or something like that. Click on finish. We'll be using this policy to connect your broker with your queue manager. Click on type and select MQ. Scroll down, find MQ endpoint below Kafka. Right. Now select the connection parameters, go to the MQ manager and see what the listener port is. Click on listeners. No. Click on listeners, queues, topics, channel, listener. So here it is 1414. That is the port which is running. All right. Now let's look at the channels. Click on channels. Here we have a let's create a sender receiver channel. Right click on it and say create new send server connection channel. Give some name. All right. Next, MCA, and we will leave the other parameters as default. Yeah, click on finish. Okay. Do you have RFH util on your desktop? If so, open RFH util as London. Queue manager name London.
Okay.
Host name is localhost.
Okay. Should I give 1414
No, not it's already there. It's not
or
necessary.
just localhost?
Go to the channel name.
Okay.
Provide the name as server connection.
Okay.
That's it. Save this project. Come back to CSV to binary project. Go to the message flow.
Yeah.
Click on MQ input and go to advanced option.
Okay.
Instead of local queue manager, okay, click on basic, sorry. Click on MQ connection property
Okay.
and select, click on local queue manager and select MQ.
plan.
Correct. No, go back to local. We will use some other option. We'll use go back to local. Yeah, now come to advanced.
Okay.
Scroll down. See if there's a policy that you can set over here. So there is no policy here. Over your left, below validation, there should be more options. Click on that.
We have
Security, instances, policy. Click on policy.
okay.
Browse and select your MQ policy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now do the same thing for your MQ output node.
Yeah, done.
Double click on compute node. Uncomment copy entire message.
Okay.
No, copy entire message.
Yeah.
Save this and deploy to test server. Drag and drop and it will deploy. Or you can right click and click on the deploy button.
Yeah.
What is the error that it's giving? It says has been deployed to
The
integration
bar
server,
file,
but there were one or more.
project.
Click on the first error message. A message flow MQ input. Conversion requires policy. Okay, first deploy the policy project.
Okay.
Click on close. Drag and drop the policy project into the test server, and then deploy CSV to binary application. Click on close. It's deployed successfully. CSV to binary has also been deployed successfully. Go to queue manager and push a message into the input queue.
Completed.
MQ Explorer.
Okay.
Right click on csv.in and push a message there.
CSV.in.
Yes,
Okay.
just 123 or something like that.
Okay.
Put message and close this. Now right click on binary.out. Have you created that? Right click
Yeah, I
on
have created.
binary.out and look at the status,
Browse.
the third option. We don't see that message here. Click on close.
Okay.
Still in csv.in for some reason. Go to your application, IIB
Okay.
or ACE. Yeah, go to the message flow. Right click on the white screen and say add node. Right
Breakpoint.
click, add
Add node.
node,
Okay.
pass through, PASS. Yeah, select that, click on OK.
Okay.
Now connect the output of MQ input node, that is the catch terminal, and the failure terminal to pass through, not that MQ input node. Yeah, the failure terminal connected to pass through, and also the catch terminal connected to pass through.
Okay.
Save this file and deploy your application again.
Vishnu, why do we use this pass through?
Let's consider there is an error with your application. We don't want the error to continuously retry. That is why we are ignoring the errors for now. And the ignoring part will happen by using the pass through.
Okay. So first again, do I need to deploy policy and then CSV, or
No,
can I direct?
direct.
Okay.
This could be an issue with the user that you're currently running and who does not have access to the queue manager. Let's find
Okay.
that out. You have deployed this.
Yeah.
Now 7600 is the port where your user interface is available. So go to browser and type localhost colon 7600.
Okay.
All right, this is your user interface. Now we'll go look at admin logs. Click on your application. Okay, let's first click on your application, CSV to binary.
Yeah. Yeah. Three dots.
Open.
Okay.
Now let's click on message flow and yeah, that message flow.
Okay.
And click on activity logs, the third option.
Yeah.
Fetch activity log.
Okay.
Delaying 1 second to keep the message rate below maximum threshold. The thread is waiting. Okay, failed to connect to queue manager London because of 2035. Go to command prompt, CMD.
Command prompt. Okay.
Type in MQRC space 2035. MQRC,
Uh,
MQRC,
all capital.
doesn't matter. Space 2.
Space two. Hello. Hello.
Space 2035.
Okay.
MQRC space 2035.
03.
This is a number that we saw in activity logs. Enter.
Okay.
It says your application is not authorized. So you are the user that you're running the ACE with. What's the name of the user? Is it admin or is it something else?
Admin only.
Right click, go to task manager. Let's look at the name of your user. Okay, here click on details, top right side. Yeah,
Okay.
arrange according to the name. Find integration server. When you type you should see integration server.
Yeah.
Click on that.
It's Vedant.
Okay, it's running as Vedan. And now go to uh, users and group. That is a control panel. What do we type for that? I want to see the users. It is not control panel. It is not device manager. I forgot what that. Search in Google for users and group Windows 10.
Computer management, I guess.
Yeah, go to that then. Computer management. It's open in the background. That's good. Now here, device manager, disk manager, service and applications. No, this is not it. It's not computer management. It's something else. So you have to include your broker and the queue manager in a particular group. The
MQM.
user called MQM group. See if Vedan is under MQM group. No, it's not services.
Mm.
Open the Windows console and say groups. In the search bar, just type in groups.
No, we are not getting it.
My friend who usually watches my YouTube videos will now have a good laugh. He says, Vishnu, you have stopped development for a long time and you forgot all the keywords. When you install WebSphere MQ on your laptop, you will not have it enabled by default such that remote IP and remote users can connect to it. That is a good safety feature by IBM. On Docker, I have a listener running on port 1414. On Windows, I have set the port number to 2414. On your left, you see that my queue manager on Windows is connected locally with MQ Explorer tool. But on the right, when I try to connect to it using RFHutil, it blocks me. Observe the error logged in this file. File path for Windows is shown on screen. We see that client user Vishnu from address Vishnu-Lenovo tried to access system.default.servercon and was blocked. When we look at channel authentication records, we see nobody has access to system.default.servercon. But you can use system.admin.servercon to access queue manager
from NQ Explorer tool only. Next, we create a channel authentication command for system.default.servercon such that our RFHutil-C application can connect as musr_admin. Full admin privileges will be granted for RFHutil on my laptop. By default, your queue manager is configured to require username and password. Disable that setting if you do not wish to provide authentication details every time you connect. When you display queue manager connection auth, you will see setting check client require ADM. Change it to optional. Observe that the user list has a value of *NQADM. This blocks musr_NQadmin from accessing the queue manager remotely. Delete that entry. Testing is successful on Windows. What did we learn today? On Windows, we learned how to grant only my local system IP admin access to queue manager. You can use a combination of username, IP address, and even password to restrict access.